All right, y'all, we're live tonight. Big Picture Live. This is a huge week for news, and the devil knows that, y'all. I had to change out a whole computer, an entire computer right before we went online. I don't know. That devil hates me, but we're going to get into it tonight. Let's go. But yeah, this has been a crazy week, and it's going to be even crazier week because think about it. 1 week from tonight, is that right? Yeah, 1 week from tonight is Donald J. Trump is the 47th president. By this time next week, he will be at one of the balls. He will be dancing with Melania and with his family or something. And who knows what might have happened. Think about all the things that has happened in our lives right now, leading up in the first 20 days of the year, let alone the 20th. And I'm going to show you some things tonight on the news tonight that there are extraordinary security measures are being put in. Cops are coming in from all over, volunteering. What a statement. You know, the police are volunteering their time from cities all over the country are coming and saying, we're going to help you, protect you, because you had our back. When everybody was talking about defund the police, you had our back. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting night tonight. Smash the like button if you hadn't already done that. I think we got the Queen coming in. There you are. There you are. Yeah. Okay. Now I got to adjust you a little bit. Y'all just be patient with me because
add some filters. I could use a little help.
No, you ain't get no filters.
Come on now.
Let's see. Where are you at?
Hello, Timothy. Good to see you tonight.
Okay, let's see. Is this what I'm doing? Nope.
Yay. Nope. Oh, okay. Catherine said she loved her snowman. Yay.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
There we go.
And little Cosmo, cousin Cosmo, that was his first snow, so he was excited as well.
That was his first snow.
He's having a lot of firsts lately.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had a lot of fun with Cosmo.
We had a little fun on the trip.
I just never seen you have so much fun with the stuff.
There were a few challenges. He was a little tough to keep up with him at times, but
all right,
we worked it out.
All right.
Yep.
I think I got it now.
Hey,
all right, so live updates. Of course, the biggest news in the world right now, especially in the United States of America, is the horrible tragedy that's happening in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So these are the live updates as of the time of this recording. Increasing winds are coming in with new potential
natural disaster
for explosive fire growth across LA County this week. The National Weather Service has issued an ominous, particularly dangerous situation warning for swaths of Los Angeles and Ventura counties, cautioning of wind gusts ranging from 45 to 70 miles an hour. This is tonight. Dry air and higher risk of rapid fire spread and extreme fire behavior. So these are just some of the pictures that are down here as they update it.
Right.
Firefighters continue to battle multiple major wildfires. A red flag warning is issued Saturday evening starting at 6 p.m. and is extended to Wednesday night, as well as a fire watch warning. Now, just a review of the fires. The Palisades fires has burned 23,713 acres and numerous homes, businesses, and landmarks.
This is just Palisades.
As of Monday, the fire was 14% contained, up from 11% on Sunday. Wow. Many of the Pacific Palisades, Malibu, Calabasas, Brentwood, and Encino are under evacuation orders or warnings. More than 12,000 structures remain threatened. Santa Monica has downgraded its mandatory evacuation orders to warnings. Officials estimate that more than 5,300 structures, including many homes, have been damaged or destroyed. The Eaton fire, 14,000 acres, many structures in Altadena and Pasadena. As of Monday, it was 33% contained. As we go down to the last one, the Hearst fire is burned 779 acres around Salmar. The evacuation orders have been lifted as of 8:20 a.m. Monday. The fire was 95% contained, according to CAL FIRE. These are the three main ones.
Thank you for that super chat. Glorify Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Thank you so much. So, yeah, it's been crazy.
Yes. I don't know if you have included, but I wish we could see just a map of the areas, like the total area that's been burned and what it looks like. I saw one a couple of days ago, but it would help me to have context of, the entire picture of everything that's going on. But it's terrible. It's truly terrible. I I know some of these people are wealthy, but even some of those, their homes were not insured because 72,000 policies were canceled by State Farm.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they were the only company that wanted to raise rates. So the state told them, no, you're not doing that. So in retaliation, I hate to use retaliation, but so their decision against that was, we're just going to cancel these people.
Right.
So I know that was in July. Hopefully, at least some of them were able to attain coverage from somewhere else.
I don't think so. I think
Wow.
some of the neighborhoods did not have any insurance when this hit.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. It is terrible. And y'all, the politics is kicking in. You know, obviously, okay, all right, we got to figure this out here. What am I doing wrong? All right, so just hang on a second.
Hang in there with us. I'm still here. Still talking about the state of California and its wonderful governor we're going to be talking about next.
Okay. So Governor Gavin Newsom suspends rebuilding regulations after wildfire devastation. How convenient that he's under pressure and all of a sudden he's going to suspend all the regulations that he is famous for signing into law. Has signed an executive order to suspend regulations that would impede the rebuilding process following the destructive wildfires. The 3-page executive order signed by the governor this week would aim to streamline the building permit process as well as roll back environmental regulations that would subject rebuilding to layers of time-consuming bureaucracy.
Yeah.
The order covers all of the Los Angeles and Ventura counties, both of which were affected by the wildfires, which have been estimated to be the costliest in California history.
Wow.
The orders is likely to be the first to several permit streamlining measures issued by state, county, and city agencies in the wake of the devastating fires. Newsom's orders would also direct state agencies to coordinate with local governments to remove or expedite permitting and approval processes during rebuilding. Honestly, I'll be honest with you right now, and I don't know why this is doing this as well. Just keep talking.
I am shocked to hear this move because I thought with all the destruction of these fires, they would just continue with what they've done before. Oh, you know, regulations, codes have changed. These people who had homes right on the coast, like Pacific Coast Highway, Malibu specifically, I mean, these people, Pacific Coast Highway is right on the front side of their house and the beach butts right up against the back side of their house. Well, you know, that is prized property. And you would think they would be trying to make it harder to rebuild.
Well, I think they are. I think this is just talk.
You think this is just talk?
Yeah. I think this is just talk because he's under so much pressure, calling for his resignation. Even the ones that voted for him, many of the Hollywood stars are coming out and tweeting and saying, you know, this is ridiculous. You sold us out.
Yeah.
And blah blah blah. So I think this is just a reactionary thing.
Can we mention some different points of view? If anybody caught the latest Celeste Salome, she starts her video by saying, this is a rewilding of this land. They don't want people on this land. That's what she said. If you watch the latest Dabu 7 video, he says, well, wouldn't you know, and I can't prove this. I would have to go and familiarize myself with the tracts of land and the map and everything. He says the fires are right where the track for this, is it high-speed rail?
High-speed rail.
Is going
the rail to nowhere.
Be. So there's all of this talk going around, and you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
But if I had to do a poll, I would think most people would say that they think that this was not a natural disaster. That there's something else afoot. So anybody want to chime in out there? Yeah. Do you think that this was a natural disaster?
Exactly. And, you know, people like Mel Gibson and others, they used to be afraid to say this, but the one thing that's coming out of all that we went through with the wah-wah and all that we went through this previous administration, the censorship and the wokeism, you've got Hollywood elite now that are coming out and saying things and are turning. You know, you got the Joe Rogans and some others that have, you know, lifelong Democrats that are moving towards and voting for Trump. And then, you know, Mel Gibson goes on Fox News without any worry at all in his life and just says, I think these were set. I think they were intentional. I think this was intentional. Wow. And I think everybody thought that, but they were shocked to hear him openly say that and put on the record.
Right.
Yeah, we a lot of folks there in California believe this was intentional. And
well, you know what? Even if you're wealthy, when you feel like your back's been pushed against the wall, okay, this is causing great harm and stress, emotional and mental stress to me, to my family. This is causing great financial stress. I've got to be out of my house. I may have to go an hour and a half away from here just to stay till I can rebuild my home, all kinds of things. And then whenever they give me the green light, what am I going to have to even deal with to replace my home? And there's things that can never be replaced. So there's got to be great frustration and great stress. And when you feel like that, what do? You start chiming in. You start sounding off. So I get it.
What did you say Celeste called it? The what?
Rewilding.
The rewilding. Well, in addition to that, another point of view here is SmartLA. People have forgotten all about that. There is something called SmartLA 28. Newsom announces at the same time, he's talking already on the news about a Marshall Plan to rebuild a new Los Angeles. We already have a team, listen to what he says, reimagining LA 2.0.
Wow, he didn't wait long on that one, did he?
He did not wait long. He absolutely said it. In the wake of the devastating wildfires that have ravaged Los Angeles County, Governor Gavin Newsom has unveiled an ambitious initiative dubbed Reimagining LA 2.0, and as he reconstructs the city. The plan, which he refers to as LA 2.0, aims to rebuild the city with a focus on modernization and resilience, particularly anticipation of the 2028 Olympics that are coming to Los Angeles. Did everybody remember that? In the middle of this chaos, the Olympics are coming, and the 2028 FIFA World Cup, Soccer Cup is coming. Gavin Newsom decided to take his PR campaign
2026 FIFA.
Okay. Decided to take the PR campaign to national television on Sunday, and the results were a major disaster and notable word salads and gestures and more.
How did I miss that?
So let's see. I think I may have a video down here. If I can scroll all the way down to the bottom, let's see. All right, let's hear this.
Over the course of the next several years, Los Angeles will be host to the Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort,
hear it, I think, but we can't.
Needing to take place,
right?
Is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
We definitely can't hear it. I can tell you that.
And it's not just being naively optimistic.
It's part of my
that only
problems,
reinforces the imperative of moving quickly.
See if they say they
doing
can
in
hear
the spirit
Guys,
of
can you
collaboration,
hear
cooperation.
the audio from the
President of
video
United
that's
States,
playing with
Donald
Gavin
Trump, to his
Newsom?
credit, was helpful.
Anybody
in getting
hear the audio
Olympics
for this video of Gavin
the
Newsom?
United States of America to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This
Hang
is
in
an
there with us.
opportunity
Hang in there
for
with
him
us.
to shine, for this country to shine, for California and
All right,
this
they're
community
catching
to
up
shine.
to
The
us.
opportunity with all of that.
We can't
and
hear
all
it.
that opportunity and that pride and
Oh, I
spirit
know
that
why we
comes
can't
from
hear
not
it.
just hosting those three
This is why.
iconic games and venues.
Oh, there you go. They're
but
saying they
also
could hear him.
The opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time, and that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team of looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan?
For
Tell
this
us about this
region,
Marshall
we're just
Plan.
starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts, and how we can galvanize the community with folks that love this community to really develop a mindset so that at scale we're dealing with the scope of this tragedy and responding to it at scale with efficiency, like the executive order I talked about, time value of delivering projects, addressing building codes, addressing permitting issues, and moving forward to rebuilding and being more resilient.
Wow.
Can I just say something right here?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what I think when I watch all these news clips with him?
Tell us.
This is Bill Clinton 20 years later and without the suit. This is the newer
And better hair, more gel.
Better hair.
More hair gel.
Because all I can this is all I hear. Who you gonna believe?
I feel your pain.
You gonna believe?
I feel your pain.
What was it he said about your lying eyes? You gonna believe me or your lying eyes? Seriously, I cannot look or listen without immediately thinking Bill Clinton without the suit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, say that again.
Are you gonna believe me or your lying eyes?
That's so awesome. Oh God, that's awesome. Okay, so as we continue down the article, it says this plan aligns with the city's existing SmartLA 28 strategy, which aims to leverage technology to address urban challenges and improve residents' quality of life. Earlier, the Gateway Pundit reported that the recent wildfires in California have led to the spread of conspiracy theories suggesting that these fires were intentionally set to advance the United Nations Agenda 2030, which is coming up fast, y'all, and the development of smart cities. You see, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development includes goals aimed at making cities, quote, inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This involves the concept of smart cities, which utilize technology to improve urban operations and the quality for residents. Now, look down here. This is the actual graphic.
Oh, they've already got the graphics plan, the whole package.
Yeah, this is an older thing that they talked about maybe a couple of years ago. This is the graphic for SmartLA 2028, Technology for a Better Los Angeles. Technology for a Better Los Angeles, y'all. So it's coming. And then when you think about the Olympics coming, you think about FIFA coming, you think about, just this whole Agenda 2030 coming.
It sounds like, hey, we're going to get ready for the Olympics and Smart City all in one fell swoop. Yeah. We're just going to take care of everything in this one move.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And man, just think about, if they're going to have to turn their attention to the Olympics pretty soon. I mean, there's massive structures have to be built.
When infrastructure is mostly already in place, you have years in advance. Yeah. Let alone a situation like this where so many things have been burned down. I will say, a lot of the pictures and videos that I saw, the fire was so efficient. It looks like there won't even be that much cleanup.
Wow, you're just going there tonight. You're just going to go ahead and just not even play.
You said I could give my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I told you I needed you to leave it all on the show tonight.
Okay.
So let's continue. This is a Trojan horse. Developers eye LA burn areas for 15-minute city transformation.
Who is this by? The People's Voice.
The People's Voice.
Wow, the People's Voice. Okay.
Yeah. So they just going there, and we're going to go there with them.
Okay.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is facing criticism amid reports that he is collaborating with developers to rezone fire-ravaged areas in the Palisades into high-density 15-minute city hubs.
How can you put this stuff out here? These people most of them probably haven't even been able to go back.
Y'all, right now,
and see what's left.
There's stuff still burning like crazy right now. It's not even, the fire's not even nowhere near contained.
The audacity.
Yeah, but they're not wasting any time. The alleged changes involve top-down government-driven urban planning to shift zoning designations from R1, which allows for single-family homes, to R3, a classification that permits the construction of high-density apartment complexes. While proponents argue the 15-minute city agenda, which Newsom continues to deny in public, is a necessary step. So let's just go ahead and go on down here and watch this video. He says he is wiggle dancing when he says speculators buying up properties. Now remember, if you go back and watch that show, if you hadn't watched it, maybe you need to watch it again and send it to somebody last night called We Are Under Attack. I remind you of Hawaii, Maui. And what the governor and all that says. Well, listen, lo and behold, to Governor Newsom and who he says he just got off the phone with?
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii. He had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
What in the world? I mean, like you said, they ain't even been able to go back to their houses yet. And the man is saying, I've been on the phone with the guy that just experienced what we experienced, and he's giving me some pointers on what to do with the land.
Yeah. Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
So it says, while the idea has been praised by environmentalists and left-wing urban planners for its potential to reduce carbon emissions, it has also become a lightning rod for controversy. Detractors argue that the 15-minute city initiatives often come with heavy-handed government policies, you think, and undermine individual freedoms.
There you go.
It's called a 15-minute city.
Yeah.
And you're inside a barrier that you have to get permission to leave it.
Right.
We're in. What was that show that you watched that time? I didn't watch it, but where they was locked inside that wall.
Colony.
Is that what a 15-minute city is going to end up being?
Well, Colony was about aliens coming, but
no, they may be coming too.
We also might be dealing with that. Yeah. Look, it's like the article said. Taking your freedoms away. It's a matter of. This is America, okay? We already have had a lot of things taken away from us that we may not even realize, but I think we still have mostly general freedom. Nobody's stopping us down the road wanting to see our papers or telling us, well, you've already been outside the boundary 2 times this month. We don't have to deal with that. We're not dealing with like real, full, complete social credit scores yet where we're being limited or denied services or whatever. We're not ready for this. This is insanity.
This is insanity. But of course, no one is taking responsibility in the government there in California. And you might be shocked to know that it's now being blamed from FEMA on climate change. So this is all about climate change. It has nothing to do with the fact that the reservoirs were empty. It has nothing to do with the fact that they did not capture any of the record rainfall they let run straight into the ocean. Yes. Has nothing to do with the fact that they're already openly saying we're going to buy up this land and turn it into multi-home places and condense people down to a 15-minute city. No. This is climate change. The FEMA chief blames climate change for the devastation. The devastating wildfires in Southern California are caused by climate change, according to FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell. She told CNN's State of the Union. Let's watch.
Is any progress being made? How is the weather when it comes to the complication of these efforts?
Yeah, Jake, I think what I'm hearing right now is that the winds are potentially getting dangerous and strong again. I believe the red flag warnings have been put back in place. And so I think the biggest thing that people need to know is that this is still dangerous and they still need to make sure they're listening to their local officials so they can keep themselves safe. I know that so many people probably want to get back into the area and check on their homes. But with the winds picking back up, you never know which way they're going to go. And so they really need to pay attention, listen to what's going on so they don't get in harm's way. And our firefighters can continue to do the great work that they've been doing to try to contain this fire.
What do you expect to happen in the next few days?
It all depends on the weather, Jake. I mean, the firefighters they're working day in and day out. There's resources that are out there. But if the weather changes, it creates different conditions. It's going to change the environment with which they're operating under. Again, the most important piece is keeping them safe as they try to protect all the homes that are in the path of the fire. And then people need to, start the registration process with us. They can register for assistance. They need to contact their insurance company and find out what their insurance company is going to pay for. And really, we can start working with them on what this road to recovery is going to look like.
California Governor Newsom's calling for an investigation into why some fire hydrants ran dry and also why a major reservoir that services the Pacific Palisades area was offline when the fires began. Based on what you saw when you were in the Los Angeles area, how much of a factor did these water supply issues play in hampering efforts to contain the fires?
You know, I'll defer to the experts in California about what they were using and what impact that had. I do know that there were so many fire starts at the same time and that it really did put a strain on the water system in the early hours and early days of this firefighting effort. But they know exactly what they had worked with, and the investigation, I'm sure, will show additional information. I think the biggest thing is to still focus on the fact that we still have fires to put out and that they're bringing in the resources necessary to help them do that.
There we go.
A lot of Californians had their insurance canceled by private insurance companies, fire insurance.
Yes.
The industry in California was already in crisis before the fires. How worried are you that insurance providers are going to choose to flee California, as we've seen in other disaster-prone states such as Florida, and that California taxpayers and actually American taxpayers are going to end up footing the bill here?
I'm always concerned about the fact that many of the insurance carriers are pulling out of the markets. You know, these types of catastrophic risks, these fire risks, they are increasing. You know, we're seeing the change coming from climate change, and we're seeing more significant severe weather events. That's what we're seeing here in California. Without insurance, people are not going to have the tools and the resources to help rebuild their lives. FEMA's programs can help jumpstart that recovery, but they're not there to rebuild their home. And so without insurance, we're going to have to bring in philanthropy. We're going to have to bring in our nonprofits. The Small Business Administration is going to
like churches. Yeah. So it goes on and on and on and on.
Right.
And it's of course it's climate change. It's always climate change. I want to take you back to realizing that, and let's not forget this, that not only tonight, seven days from at the time of this live, this time next week on the Monday night show, we will be covering a brand new president. Donald J. Trump will be president, 47th president. Right. At the same day and at the same time, on the other side of the world, Davos will be gathering. January 20th is the beginning of the World Economic Forum.
The first day?
The first day.
Wow.
The very first day of the World Economic Forum is January 20th, the day of the inauguration. I also want to remind you, as we hear all of this, how many times have you already heard Gavin Newsome and others say misinformation and disinformation? We need to stop this misinformation and disinformation.
Right. They got the memo.
They got the memo. So let's just go down that rabbit hole and remind ourselves that we covered this time last year, Davos released for the first time ever two different top 10 lists of the most dangerous things affecting humanity ever. Never done it before. Climate, which is what we're talking about right now, is always number one. It was number one over the next 10 years, but it was number two over the next 2 years. They put out a list, the top 10 most dangerous things to humanity, threats to humanity for the next 2 years. Climate was number two. Misinformation and disinformation was number one.
Yes.
Over the next 2 years. Why not say it's the most dangerous thing happening over the next 10 years and climate's number two? No, they said misinformation and disinformation.
Yes.
Come on, are you hearing where I'm going here? Are the most dangerous things facing the future of humanity in the next 2 years. And then after that, it's climate again. Why?
How convenient, right?
And look at what we've done so far this year, last year and this year. Does it not make sense? Because that 2 years was last year and this year.
Yes. Yes.
So let's put 2 and 2 together here. Did they have a massive lineup of events planned 24 and 25 because they've had a feeling 47 may be coming back in. So they had to turn the narrative while they hit us with all these things
Personally,
That's where my mind goes.
Personally, I think they would have proceeded as planned, no matter who was president, because I believe there is a depopulation goal. I believe there is this great goal of pushing people into 15-minute cities, and there's a grand plan. It's going to take years.
Yeah.
And
they've been working on it for years.
They've already been working on it for years, but it's going to take harsh things like Hurricane Helene. Did I say that right? Helene. These fires, other, long-term, large-scale events. I mean, let's just think about it. We've had fires. We had Maui fire.
Right.
I think probably more people perished, but as far as land and as far as number of structures, this is a grander scale, right?
Next level, yes.
There's probably a good possibility that there's more people that have died that they're not reporting.
Just like in Maui.
Right.
That death toll was never correct.
We had the horrors of Katrina.
Yeah.
And think about how many people died and there was so much destruction.
Yep.
But look at Helene.
Yeah, right.
I mean, grander scale, right?
Exactly.
Of land destruction,
over
home destruction.
100,000 homes destroyed.
So it's like we're continuing to have things happen, but they're getting worse. They're getting bigger. They're getting on a grander scale.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you almost hate to say the words, what next?
Yeah.
But
I agree with you. And that's why I say that when you go back, and that's why I did that show last night, We're Under Attack. And there was so many things. Like, I didn't even cover Paradise. Was it Paradise, California? Is that what it's called? The
Paradise Fire.
Paradise Fire, yeah. So people were asking me, why didn't you cover that? Going back to that.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying there was a lot of things I didn't have time to cover. There's so many things that's building up to this moment. But I'm telling you, I got this gut feeling that the plan was all along to hit us with Maui and all the things that happened in 24, the assassination attempt and all that in 24. And then the natural disasters were going to boom, 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 not to mention World War III, all these terrorist attacks, all in this year, which happens to be the first year of this new administration. And then there's going to be so much fear. They planned on so much fear that they would be able to seize control and to stop this agenda. Because they know he's only got, he's a 4-year term, but I would say he's really only got about 2.5 years to do what he's got to do, because after that it goes back into the presidential campaign, and he becomes a lame duck. So y'all, it's going to be rapid fire. This is literally just the beginning of what is coming, and that's why they had the 2 years misinformation and disinformation, because that's what we're labeled. We're labeled what we're saying right now. The questions that we are asking, the questions that you are asking, that you are talking around your kitchen table, that's called misinformation, disinformation. Anything that doesn't line up with the narrative is misinformation and disinformation.
How long till they break it all the way down to, well, we know you said it because your phone was right there.
Right.
In the privacy of your home, in the privacy of your car. I mean, if you don't know, they're listening when you're in your car, when you're in your house, not just listening, but recording what you say, every keystroke, every different website you go to, everything you do, it's all being banked in server farms to be called back up at any point. So at what point does it come all the way down to, well, yeah, you might have been in a back office with one other person, but you did say this on that day. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, right. Well, look what Elon said, and then this guy comments on it. He says, Elon says it will take years to rebuild L.A. He said that people in the L.A. hit by the devastating fires will realize how much local government bureaucracy works against them when they try to rebuild their homes.
That's exactly what L.A. Marzulli said.
Yep.
Was he the 2018 fire? Is that the one that got his house?
Yes.
He said from the time that happened, it will be years before I can rebuild this home because of all the red tape and the bureaucracy. Now, he has finally rebuilt.
And now it's been threatened again.
Now it's been threatened again, but I think it took him years.
Yeah. So it says, Elon goes on to say, quote, the real red pill will come when people try to get permits to rebuild their homes and face multi-year waits. This might finally spell doom for the Coastal Commission, which should not even exist as an organization.
Wow.
Look at that right there. That's unbelievable. So, but now I want to go back to this guy right here. The questions that he asked. His name is Scott Adams. He's supposed to be, I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. His name is Scott Adams. Okay. Adams asked the quote, "I need a fact check on my current assumptions about rebuilding after the fire," and shared the following concerns California homeowners will face in their efforts to rebuild. Number one, it could take years to get anything approved in normal times in California. The backlog from the fire could push it out a decade. Goodness. Number two, the cost of building a custom home in California is roughly double the market value of the home when it's done. Double the market value of the home when it's done. Costs twice as much to build it than what it's worth when it's done. The new home will get a property tax step up to become unaffordable for anyone who owned the original home for a decade or more. Right. The fire risk will return once everything regrows, and insurance companies will not come back. And here I assume continued state incompetence. Number five, there are not enough qualified builders to rebuild. Number six, owners will be rebuilding in the midst of unchecked and growing crime.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a lot. So if you want to talk about that, then let's reverse engineer this whole thing. Let's go back 10 or 12 years when, if this was a grand plan from the state of California, or maybe even way over their heads, to, okay, we want one way or another to take possession of this land. We want the people off of it. We want them gone so we can do whatever with it. Okay? So make sure the reservoirs don't have water. Let the brush get out of control. Don't go in there and do control burns and keep everything nice and tidy like you're supposed to. Let a few other things fall through the cracks or engineer them to happen. And then, wow, look here. We've got the perfect storm after we engineer a not so natural disaster of a fire.
Yep.
So then the homes burn, then the homes become uninsurable.
Yep.
Then they burn.
Yep.
Then people cannot afford to rebuild. And even if they have the money, we're going to gunk up the system and make them wait years to even be able to do it. Then they're going to have to pay twice what anybody else would pay to build the same house anywhere else. I mean, this is just the perfect storm.
The property tax is insane. I heard some people's property tax was like $50,000 to $60,000 above normal. About what normal house would be in a normal house.
I don't doubt it.
$10,000 a month, some of them, are property taxes. $10,000 a month. Well, let's go to this article here. LA County Sheriff drops alarming news. Looters are dressing up as firefighters.
Oh, my.
Have you heard that?
No, I hadn't heard that one.
To rob homes as wildfires continue to rage.
I heard there were a lot of looters, but I hadn't heard that.
This is how we have just devolved.
California
California firefighters have been fighting a heroic battle to put out the most devastating wildfires in the state's history with absolutely no help from state and local leadership. Now it turns out that some of society's worst are using their courage to seize upon an opportunity that could further endanger the public. LA County Sheriff Robert Luna revealed disturbing news this morning during a press conference about the wildfires. Looters are masquerading as firefighters to rob homes. Let's play this video.
But when I was out there in the Malibu area, I saw a gentleman that looked like a firefighter, and I asked him if he was okay because he was sitting down. I didn't realize we had him in handcuffs.
Wow.
We were turning him over to LAPD because he was dressed like a fireman, and he was not.
Unbelievable.
He just got caught burglarizing a home.
Wow.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah. This is what happens when state and local governments tolerate crime for years. And that is true. Mm-hmm. That is they're coming out now. Looters will be prosecuted, if you try, blah, blah, blah. Then people in California don't believe that. They just now got an attorney general, thank God, that's at least saying that you're going to be prosecuted. I mean, they passed a law. What they reduce it down to just a few $100s or something, where if you did it underneath that, you could get out of jail free card and all this.
In regards to stores, I think it went from 400 to 900 or 999, something like that.
Yeah. So as long as you got it under $1,000, then you're good.
This is one of the things that must be so painful and hard to deal with. So all these houses burn, or even if maybe your house is still there but you've been put under evacuation, all these people that had to leave for one reason or the other, it's not like they could go down the street to the hotel. All the hotels are full. You may have to go a long distance just to find somewhere to stay. And you're so far away from your house, even when they do say, okay, we're letting people back in to, go through the rubble or whatever. It's got to be just a nightmare.
Absolutely. Well, look at this article. If you think the Cali fire management is bad, wait until you hear the secret that firefighters can't reveal.
Oh, boy.
This is what they're dealing with. I'm going to just go right on down to this part right here where it says, it's plain as day that the left's fire management is a colossal disaster. Los Angeles is literally ablaze and burning to the ground as we speak. But did you know there's a deep, dark secret, one that's the worst kept secret among firefighters? They know all about it but are forbidden to speak up, fearing it will clash with the left's plans. The truth is, many of these fires are caused by careless, homeless people, and firefighters are fully aware of it. Look at this right here. Fox 11's Gigi Graciette says that she's been told by firefighters how often they're not allowed to admit on camera that a fire was caused by homeless camps because it's a controversial topic the city government doesn't want discussed. Wow. So you're talking about regulations. You're talking about handcuffed. Mm-hmm. You're talking about you can't tell them what the problem is. The fire chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department, she just came out and said, y'all, we were shafted. They did cut us $17 million in all this when they kept telling her, you can't say that. She just said, I'm not going down without a fight. And she started throwing everybody under the bus. And then, of course, then you got to look at the DEI stuff that's going on there.
Right.
I'm not trying to be hateful in this, but the top 3 people running the fire department, the county and the city, are all DEI hires lesbians. Yeah. And so they're making videos excusing the fact, the assistant fire chief made a video proclaiming, yeah, I know I can't carry a man out of a fire, but did you see that video?
Oh, yeah.
She said, I tell the wife, well, your husband got himself in a difficult position. If he's counting on me, carry him out.
What do you do?
That is not what you want to hear.
Yeah. And to add a little context, so we went on vacation in June, and where we were in San Francisco and Sequoia National Forest and everything, everywhere we went, it looked like a tinderbox. It
really did.
If you thumped a match or whatever out the window, in 5 minutes there would be a 3-acre fire. Yeah. Because it's not like here in Alabama. I mean, I know we have people from all over the country and the world on here tonight. I don't know what you call whatever is growing where we would have grass on the side of the road. Yeah. This long, stringy, dry looking, whatever it was. But it just looked like everywhere we were, the place could go up at any moment.
Absolutely, it did. We commented on several times.
It's just different. It's dangerous. In my opinion, if you live in California, you just really, really want to be there. Yeah. Between taxes and regulations,
you must be on a
and
mission.
Natural disasters and crime and so forth.
We're praying for you.
We're praying for you. You really want to be there.
All right. So look, here's a dude that's very well known in L.A., Mel Gibson. So he goes on. He comes out of Joe Rogan, and then he goes straight on the Laura Ingraham show. And let's just hear old Mel.
Were you able to get possessions that, of course, are really immaterial when you have your family, but I've been to your house. It was an incredible home, beautiful home. But were you able to get anything out of your house?
Not much. A few necessary things. You know, my son I said, just go and grab this and this and this. And he grabbed like 3 things and took off. And then, you know, those are okay. Stuff like passports and a couple of papers and stuff like that. But by and large, everything was just, it looked, when I got there the other day, I went up there yesterday, it looked like Dresden, you know, after Bomber Harris got through with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mel,
so nothing left.
He goes on to say in that, and I thought it was in that particular one, but he goes on to say it was intentionally set. He says, yeah, I don't have any idea it was intentionally set. So much loss that it didn't have to be this way. The mismanagement of the so-called fire safety program, if you can even call it a program, is downright criminal. And, of course, we see here, and let's listen to the fire chief. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is the fire chief that says, yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth.
I want to be very, very clear. Yes, we took a $17 million budget cut. And as we know, any budget cut would negatively impact our ability to carry out our mission. I want to also clarify that I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. It's my job as the fire chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department to make sure that our firefighters have exactly what they need to do their jobs. And that's why I'm talking to you today. The Palisades fire, everybody's seen it. It is absolutely one of the most horrific natural disasters in the history of Los Angeles. And even with an additional 100 engines, I tell you, we were not going to catch that fire. But with that being said, let me be clear. The $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. So with that, we have over 100 fire apparatus out of service. And having these apparatus in the proper amount of mechanics would have helped. And so it did absolutely negatively impact. I want to also be clear that I have, over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters. With that, I have also requested multiple budgets, interim budgets, to show how understaffed, under-resourced, and underfunded the LEFD is. So with that, also, we have clear data that shows the LEFD needs more help. We need 62 more fire stations. These reports also show that we've had a 55% increase in overall call volume since 2010. And guess what? We're doing it with less firefighters. I was also directed to develop a plan as part of a budget reduction exercise, and that could equate to $48.8 million. And I rang the bell that these additional cuts could be very, very devastating for our ability to provide public safety. That would have resulted to 15 fire stations closing down and potentially the elimination of over 300 firefighters. Again, I want to be clear that I submitted a very large budget that will actually allow our firefighters to do their jobs. And I tell you,
wow.
62 more fire stations?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's going to take a minute.
And she went on to also establish that when the cuts happened, they cut the mechanics. And she said we had multiple, I forgot what the number was, multiple fire engines were down.
Sure.
And she said if we would have had just mechanics to fix these, they would have been online and they could have been used. So they were fighting a losing battle from the very beginning.
Well, this is what you want to do when you have a fire outbreak, natural disaster, is make everybody stop by the emission station to have your fire engine checked for its emissions while they're on the way to put out the fire.
Right.
Because that is genius right there.
And that is the alleged report that multiple fire engines were sent from the state of Oregon and were held up in Sacramento to pass emissions tests. I've heard other people say it wasn't true, but I've heard more people say it was true than it wasn't. But hey, 7 days, y'all. New sheriff is in town. Let's hear what he had to say back in the day.
What will you do to help people in this?
What year is this?
State whose homes
This
are
is
being
when
damaged again and again?
This is I think this year when he was campaigning. Former president holds a press briefing in Rancho. This was like right before the election, I think.
Because he had spoken on this matter, 2019?
Yeah, he went out there and told them. Mm-hmm. He told them, he said, look, this is what's going to happen. He predicted exactly what would happen. But this was when he was at a campaign stop, I believe.
Okay. State whose homes are being damaged again and again, or are falling off of these cliffs right behind us, or burned down, or for the people across the country whose homes are jeopardized by natural disaster.
This is my favorite question of the day.
Ooh.
You're asking me what would I do for... Let's talk California first. Is that okay? Do you mind? So I was riding with Gavin Newsom and some congressmen 4 years ago. I was riding up north in California. And I looked at these fields. They were massive. I was telling John, right? It's my favorite question. I love that somebody would ask me this question.
Such a beautiful question.
I never told you to do it, right? Who are you with? Good. Spectrum.
I'm going to send you some flowers.
New hot, right? It's hot. It's doing well. But that's because you ask good questions. So what happened, I'm saying why I look at this field, and it's massive, and in the middle of the field is a little spot of the most green, plush land you've ever seen. I said, and then I'd see another one. These little plots, like 1 and 2 acres, and you'd have 1,000 acres that's barren and dead and dark. And I said, what's the problem here? What is that green acreage? You know, the soil is unbelievably fertile, but they have no water. I said, so do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. We have the water is cut off upstate, up in the north. You know that? And the water, in order to protect a certain little tiny fish called a smelt, they send millions and millions of gallons of water out to the Pacific Ocean, way up north. Never even gets close to here. And you know, in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, all these rich areas, they want to give you like 38 gallons of water to use. You buy a house for a lot of money, and then you're allowed to use 38 gallons of water. But you have no water down here. And the reason you have no water, you have the canals. The reason you have no water is because Gavin Newsom didn't want to do it. I had it all done. I had the Department of Commerce at the time. Believe it or not, they're the ones that rule on this particular issue. So you have millions of gallons of water pouring down from the north with the snow caps in Canada and all pouring down. And they have essentially a very large faucet. And you turn the faucet, and it takes 1 day to turn it. It's massive. It's as big as the wall of that building right there behind you. And you turn that, and all of that water goes aimlessly into the Pacific. And if they turned it back, all of that water would come right down here and right into Los Angeles. They wouldn't have to have people not use more than 30 gallons and 32 gallons. They want to do that, you know. They're trying to do that. And you have so much water. And all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests.
So, you know, you get the gist. He's trying to tell them, you don't have to look for water. You don't have to drill for water. You got water, but you're trying to protect this thing that looks like a sardine, the smelt. Look, I'm all about saving fish. But y'all, fish don't come before lives. No. Fish don't come before humans. Yeah. I mean, I've read the Bible. Okay, the Bible said he gave us dominion over the fish of the sea.
That's it.
And by the way, the ones that were fighting for the smelt, was it the Native Americans, I think, were saying that, you know, let's protect these smelt. They called for it, but come to find out, that whole thing about diverting water away from them because they don't like as much water or something didn't even help them.
No.
Didn't even help them. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, y'all. What kind of world are we living in? Yeah. What kind of world are we living in? Well, this is something really, really important that we need to focus on. And this is what is really important to firemen. So they're not supposed to be called firemen anymore. Oh. Did you know that this is something that they're pushing right now? This is at the top of their priority of their DEI. We're not supposed to call them firemen anymore. Look at what she says. I'm a fire officer, not a fireman.
A fireman.
Have you ever heard the term fire officer?
I actually have not.
I haven't either. Well, guess what? You're about to, because Southern Californians are grappling with the reality that entire neighborhoods may have to be lost because of diversity policies implemented by the highest ranks of Los Angeles Fire Department. Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, that we just heard from, earned national acclaim for being the first female and first LGBTQ plus 1A fire chief in the history of the LAFD. She also earned accolades for making diversity, equity, and inclusion her top issue. She wanted to hire more LGBT and female firefighters. And yet not a person who was rescued in the blazing infernos that engulfed the Pacific Palisades requested an LGBT
That's
fire.
hard to believe, don't you think?
So hard to believe. They wanted the strongest, most capable firefighters to pull them out of the danger zone. Regardless, the International Association of Fire Chiefs has been quietly promoting diversity for more than a decade. Libs of TikTok recently uncovered the agency's inclusive language guide, instructing chiefs to not use terms like fireman because the word is not gender inclusive. Instead, they are supposed to be called fire officers. So here's the official document. It goes on to say, here's some other words that's got to change. Use staffing instead of manpower. Yes. So you can't say, how much manpower do we have? No, how much staffing do we have? Use personnel or people instead of men. Use firefighter instead of fireman.
Yes.
In addition, the IAFC strongly encourages fire departments to have written policies with regular training that reinforces the same, that specifically prohibit disrespectful, hurtful, exclusionary, and or unprofessional language, including but not limited to jokes regarding gender, racial, religious, alternative lifestyles, and or ethnic jokes and slurs in the workplace, and that all personnel are held accountable for following these policies.
This all seems a little backwards to me. We want the best and most capable, but we just want a firefighter. We don't want to spend precious time getting into debates. You're drawing attention to the diversity. Yeah. You're drawing attention to different lifestyles. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You can't even say manpower anymore. And y'all, this is not Los Angeles. This is the national union. This is the mandating covering of all firefighters. But, you know, while that's going on, you've got companies after company after company. They're doing away with their DEI. They're reading the room. They looked at the election. They're
exactly.
Like, oh, come on, can y'all read the room? We don't want this. The American people do not want this. By the way, okay, y'all know we lead a church, okay? I'm a pastor. So if you didn't know that, yes, we are. So I have a biblical worldview. I believe in the traditional family between one man and one woman, okay? Yes. But you know what? When it comes to things like this, you know, we are in a free country. You can sleep with anybody you want to sleep with.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna stop you as long as it's not harming a child. But here's the reality.
Yeah.
Leave it there. Don't bring it in and think that people whose house is burning is going to feel better seeing someone that looks like them.
Yes.
They don't care about looking like them. They want you to get their kids out, get their animals out,
save
their house.
Right.
They don't care what you look like. They don't care who you sleep with.
Exactly.
Don't care what your skin color is. Don't care how much money you got, what language you speak. Just be big enough to carry the tanks, come in there with the hoses, and save my house and save my family.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Let's remind you that there is still a world out there. That's not just America. There's a world. People are watching us from all over the world, and there's a world out there that a lot of crazy things are going on. Very, very few people are talking about this. Hundreds of thousands of people flood the streets of Romania to protest the canceling of the presidential election over bogus Russian influence charge. Hundreds of thousands of Romanians are furious. The presidential election marched today through the capital of Bucharest to demand that the vote should be processed and that the outgoing and by now legitimate President Klaus Iohannis, whatever, should resign. So I'm going to call him that.
Iohannis?
Iohannis.
dăm pe margine, toată lumea, pe margine, margine, și rămâneți pe loc, rămâneți pe loc. Haideți, la margine, la margine, hai. Haideți, margine.
So Sean Ryan actually flew to Romania and did an interview with one of the top political figures. And I don't know if the show's out yet. It's going to be tonight or tomorrow, something like that. And he said he's going to reveal one of the most shocking things that's ever happened on the global scene. And he said, while we're being distracted by all of this, the world, things are going on in the world that nobody's talking about that are huge. Woo, that's loud.
That's really loud.
Wow. Okay, sorry about that. What was that? Okay, I muted that one.
That's what used to be my left eardrum.
Well, it was my right one.
De peste 100.000 de oameni în București. Iohannis trebuie să plece. Acest președinte uzurpator.
I'm just going to say Your Highness. But yeah, so these are things that are going on in the world. Let me also remind you that this is Romania. This is something that's really bad. That the EU, think about this. Yeah. It is, from what I understand, the EU came in and forced the cancellation of the election in a sovereign nation of Romania.
How's that even possible?
I don't know all the details, and that's what Sean Ryan is supposed to be revealing.
So you're saying
the EU was the force that made it happen.
He's there now, or he was just there?
He was there, and he did a video walking the streets of Romania and said, guys, I know you're wondering where in the world I am. Yep. I am in Romania. I came here because of some things that were being told to me that are happening on the global scene. I just did an interview with whatever who he said it was, and he goes, when I get back and I show you this, you are going to be shocked to know what is going on around this world right now. And he said, by the way, he said, Romania is being set up. They said they are getting ready to build, listen to this, the largest NATO facility in the world in Romania. And I think he was hinting that World War III is going to be launched from Romania.
Is this some kind of central part of the theater, or what they think?
I think that's what he was implying.
What they think?
That's what he was implying. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to look at the live chat and see if anybody's commenting on that. Yeah, so I see this right here. Okay. So look, but let's not forget about China. Look what China has come out today in the news. China is constructing D-Day style barges for possible Taiwan invasion.
Whoa.
Taipei considers recruiting foreign fighters while Beijing's new sea vessels draw inspiration from the 1944 Normandy landings. Look at these illustrations here. This is what they're building.
My goodness.
So that they can quickly hit the land.
So that's the ramp.
That's the ramp.
So it's going to go up and it's going to drop down.
It's going to drop down.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it says, experts told the Telegraph that the barges, which seemingly draw inspiration from the Mulberry Harbors built for the Normandy landings in 1944, could prove critical in the amphibious invasion of Taiwan. The vessels reportedly feature a bridge which could be used to transport tanks and supplies across unpassable ground onto the island of Taiwan.
120-meter bridge. What is that? And
I don't know.
Can somebody do that conversion? Hey Siri.
Convert 120 meters to feet, please. 393 feet.
That's 393 feet.
393 feet bridge. Good Lord have mercy. The platform allows larger ships to dock and unload tanks onto the barge. Pillars to provide stable platforms in poor weather. Look, the pillars can be driven down into the ground.
Those that are on the
on the ship.
What?
Pillars to provide stable platforms.
So only the center part is solid?
Well, that looks like
that's... And it at least has...
That's where they can put all the tanks and everything. Yeah. That's where they can load tanks and vehicles in the middle and just drive straight out.
That reminds me of my kayak. It has a hole in it. And I'm thinking, how am I not sinking?
Wow.
I'm still buoyant, but there's a hole in my kayak. It goes all the way through my kayak.
Yes.
Oh, I can't deal with this.
I
need some coffee.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I drank it all. By allowing China's forces to bypass rocky and soft beaches unsuitable for heavy vehicles like tanks, the barges could provide multiple fronts for an invasion while thinning out Taiwanese defenses.
Tell me somebody hadn't spent a minute thinking about all these
You better
things.
believe this
Are
thing-
you kidding me?
Th- these-
How long did it take to
Yeah.
think about this
Yeah.
and design this and build this?
And why are we just now seeing pictures? Look how long it took to build it. There they are under construction.
This is a long range plan.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Long range plan.
Y'all, I'm telling you right now, China's going to invade Taiwan. And
Yeah, you don't build this without some grand goal in mind, right?
Yeah. And look, y'all, it is not beyond the possibility that it happens in the next 7 days.
Shut up.
Because you know they want to do whatever they can do before Trump gets in office. Now, I'm not telling you Trump can stop all this stuff.
I'm definitely going to need that coffee.
Yeah. Well, you want me to just leave you here
Yeah,
with it?
could you just go get me an
Yeah, I'll be
espresso
right back.
or a cappuccino or something?
I'll be right back. Wow. Well, let's continue with all the good news because, it just gets better and better here on the big picture. This is from Politico. I think things are going to get bad, really bad. The U.S. military debates possible deployment on U.S. soil under Trump.
Can you read that headline again?
Yeah, because that was confused me too.
I need to hear that.
It confused me too when I first read it, but then you'll understand in a minute. The U.S. military is debating that things are going to get bad, and they are trying to figure out what it will mean if they are asked to be deployed on U.S. soil. You'll understand in a minute.
Okay.
The last time an American president deployed the U.S. military domestically was under the Insurrection Act during the deadly Los Angeles riots in '92. Douglas Oliphant was there. Oliphant, then a young Army first lieutenant, says things went fairly smoothly because it was somebody else, the cops, doing the head cracking to restore order, not his 7th Infantry Division. He and his troops didn't have to detain or shoot anyone. There was real sensitivity about keeping federal troops away from the front lines, who was ordered by President George H.W. Bush as rioters in central South L.A. set fires to buildings, assaulted police and bystanders, pelted cars with rocks, and smashed store windows in the aftermath of the videotaped beating of Rodney King, a black motorist. They tried to keep us in support roles backing the police. By the end of 6 days, 63 people were dead and 2,883 were injured, though reportedly none of at the hands of the military. Now, it goes on to say, here's what it's all about. According to nearly a dozen retired officers and current military lawyers, as well as scholars who teach at West Point and Annapolis, are an intense, if quiet, debate is underway inside the U.S. military community about what orders it would be obliged to obey if President-elect Donald Trump decides to follow through on previous warnings that he might deploy troops against what he deems domestic threats, including political enemies, dissenters, and immigrants. On November 18th, 2 weeks after the election, Trump confirmed his plans to declare a national emergency and use the military for mass deportation of illegal immigrants. One fear is that domestic deployment of active duty troops could lead to bloodshed, given that the regular military is mainly trained to shoot at and kill foreign enemies. The only way to prevent that is establishing clear rules of engagement for domestic deployments that outline how much force troops can use, especially considering constitutional restraints protecting U.S. citizens and residents. Everything I hear is that our training is in the, said retired Navy Marvin Koval. I'm not sure we have the kind of discipline now at every leader level that we had 32 years ago. That concerns me. You're going to put this on the ground. So basically what it's saying, he says, if we get fast and loose with rules of engagement and we get into operations without a stated mission and intent, we're going to be headline news and it's not going to be good. Now, I want to say this. I understand where they're coming from. I understand that you have to have a plan, that you can't just go in there, guns blazing. These are Americans on Americans.
Right.
But that's not the story here. The story is that it is being reported already that the military, top generals in the military, are having secret meetings pre-Trump to figure out What are we going to obey
Right.
the commander-in-chief on, and what are we not? That's where we're headed.
So I have a question. Does this go back to even the Obama administration when there was a move to get rid of a lot of generals that were there? Mm-hmm. People I listen to say, they were retired early. They didn't want to agree with, the administration, with decisions, so they just retired and left, or they felt like they were forced out. Are we now seeing the intention of that plan to get rid of that whole group of people?
Well,
some of them would have retired out anyway
some of them needs to
because
go.
of age and so forth. But what I'm hearing is there was a move to get rid of certain disposition people
that didn't agree with the administration.
Yes.
And now that's what Donald Trump is saying that he's going to do. He said he's going to fire many of the generals at the top of the Pentagon because they've gone woke. But y'all, this is about to get dicey. He's the commander-in-chief.
Yes.
The military is supposed to do what he says.
Yes.
Now, it says here, for active military, most of the current debate is happening behind closed doors. As a result, some retired military as well as scholars and lawyers are trying to bring the issue into public view. It's legally and ethically dicey to have open conversations about this, who urge military officers and troops to consider resisting politicized orders. In a New York Times op-ed in September, one concern is whether the military could tarnish itself like an incident that happened at Kent State. We remember that, before college students were shot to death by jittery and poorly trained Ohio National Guardsmen in 1970.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what this is about, y'all, is about the deportation. What this is about crime, taking care of crime, and it's about listen to me, they know there's going to be riots in the streets shortly after President Trump, maybe even the day that he's inaugurated. But there will be riots in the streets, and there will certainly be riots in the streets. You and I were talking about the other day that these cartels that are more powerful than countries, that have more money than countries, that have had active working organizations throughout this country for decades, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, illegal immigrants, not just from Mexico, from around the world, terrorists, cells everywhere. They are not going to let their people be deported without. There's going to be gunfights. There's going to be some very serious pushback. They're not just going to willingly go back to their countries.
No, I don't think so.
So that's what they're saying. Where is the line where we're going to say, you know what, President Trump, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to go in that building and all this kind of stuff when there's somebody who's committed murder, somebody who's committed a crime in there, but they don't want to go in there. So y'all, we're facing some dicey things. Well, we have our government, we have our military debating right now, admitting, are we going to obey the commander-in-chief?
Exactly. How interesting, just days ago, that the facility had 3 Humvees stolen.
Yeah. Gun mounts. Yep.
They reported 40 pairs of binoculars, but I said to you, do you think they were actually probably night vision?
I would think so.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and where are they? Where are they now? And how in the world did someone steal them?
Exactly.
That was an inside job. I'm sorry, it's an inside job. You cannot steal Humvees in the middle of a fire. You just can't do it on your own without inside job. So speaking of Donald Trump, y'all, like I said, 7 nights. You ain't gonna want to miss next week, because next week we'll be covering everything that's going down. I got a feeling it's going to be a very eventful day. Yeah. But now today, Trump's inauguration schedule was released. What's going to happen? I'll just run it down. On the 18th, this is what's got some people concerned. There's going to be a reception and fireworks to be held at Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, Virginia. Reception for cabinet nominees and dinner hosted by Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. Then on the 19th, Trump will lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at the Arlington National Cemetery, where members of the military are buried. And here's the thing. A victory rally.
He's going ahead with that rally.
He's going ahead at Capital One Arena, home of the Washington Wizards and the Washington Capitals, a massive rally, and Trump will then host a candlelight dinner. And many in his administration are asking him to cancel that because there's a lot of concern. In fact, Dan Bongino, who was very connected and worked in Secret Service, is begging Trump not to do this.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Like, okay, this just absolutely has to be done, even though, you know.
I get it. I mean, it's Donald Trump.
There's a lot at stake
so Donald
here.
Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so Donald Trump.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. We can't just go in there and let all the Washington elite have their time. This is for my people. My people get to celebrate with me. Why did I just become Italian?
I don't know. The same way that you become Hispanic and Chinese and
I got to master Trump. I got to learn how to do it. I can't.
Oh my goodness!
But on the 20th, this is how the 20th is going to go down. The day will begin with a service at St. John's Church. These are all traditional things. After the church service, Trump will have tea at the White House with President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. That ought to be great.
Oh,
That's going to be some video gold. At noon, it's always at high noon, Trump will take the oath of office at the U.S. Capitol. It'll be Eastern Time. The oath reads, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. After saying goodbye to Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, which is going to be something to see, it's going to be. I think people are going to be evaluating the facial movements and all the
They're probably going
expressions.
to be. They ought to be evaluating the expressions between Kamala and Jill.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's cold. Man, they're cold as ice.
I think they wouldn't even look at each other at the funeral the other day.
They would. Signing ceremony, and watch this. The president will hold a signing ceremony near the Senate chamber where he will likely sign nominations so that his cabinet selections can be confirmed expeditiously. A lunch will be hosted by a joint congressional committee on the inaugural ceremonies, which organizes the inauguration events, including the swearing-in ceremony. Prior to the parade from the Capitol, and we may live stream that, I'm not sure, the president will review the troops, parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. At the White House, Trump will hold a signing ceremony where he is expected to sign a flurry of executive orders that night. Trump will attend and address 3 inaugural balls, the Commander-in-Chief's Ball, the Liberty Inaugural Ball, and the Starlight Ball. And then the next day, the 21st, Trump will attend the National Prayer Service, concluding inaugural activities. So it's going to be quite an eventful 7 to 8 days from now.
That's a lot.
Yeah. We just pray that it goes off without major events, because a lot of people let's just go there. It says an internal Veterans Affairs memo reveals an unprecedented request for Donald Trump's upcoming inauguration, calling for paramedics, registered nurses with emergency and surgical expertise, and licensed medical practitioners specializing in emergency medicine. The memo outlines a heightened medical readiness initiative that insiders confirm has never been requested for any recent inauguration. Health insurance policies have been updated to include new exclusions, stating that coverage will not apply to, quote, treatment of injuries or illness resulting from war, declared or undeclared, riots, or insurrections.
You never saw that one coming.
Are they preparing for a mass casualty event at Trump's inauguration? Let's listen to James O'Keefe. Come on, James. Come on, James. Come on, James. Come on, James.
Internal memo from the Veterans Administration surfaced containing an unusual request: support for the upcoming presidential inauguration. A high-level source inside the Department of Veterans Affairs has disclosed a memo from the Executive Director, Office of the Emergency Management within Veterans Affairs. The source inside the VA said the source deployment request did not occur for the last 2 inaugurations. We spoke to the source inside the VA to ask if this is something that's typical. So can you just talk a minute about this being typical or not typical within the VA? Them doing these sorts of things for the past few inaugurations?
What concerned me was that this has never been requested before, especially not from HHS. What we have, what I saw to me was a little bit unnerving. I've been in the VA for several inaugurations, and this was the first time they have ever asked for Dems personnel.
First time they've ever asked for personnel.
For an inauguration, yes.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. That's why I decided to send that memo to you, because I believe that there's something unnerving about it. I'm not 100% sure, but my gut says this is not normal, and it's not.
The memo details a formal request from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response, or ASPR. It calls upon the Veterans Administration to provide critical medical support for the event. Specifically, they sought the deployment of paramedics, registered nurses with expertise in emergency and medical surgical care, and licensed medical practitioners, including MDs, DOs, NPs, PAs, specializing in emergency medicine. The memo is signed by Derek Justad, who is the Executive Director for the VHA Office of Emergency Management. We ask, is this request part of a standard protocol for inaugurations, or is there a specific reason for the heightened medical readiness?
So, yeah, that's happening.
Yeah.
And you know, the words that you need to concentrate on is never been done.
Right.
Never before. How many times have we heard never before, never been done in the last year? And we're going to hear that more this year.
I think so.
So I'm just telling you, that's a precautionary thing. I understand that because he's such a controversial figure, but that's also intelligence that are being given to them, not smartness, but intelligence being leaked to them.
Right.
That there are the potential of something. You don't do that, and listen to the wording. All of the people requested in the medical field was with people with trauma experience, an emergency room experience. What are they trying to project to us?
I don't know. I mean, I'll be glad when it's January the 22nd, because
yeah, me too.
I'll be honest with you, I have a little bit of anxiety just of the potential of what could happen, and I don't like feeling that way.
No.
We all want to enjoy that day and not have these thoughts in the back of our mind. When is something about to pop off? And how bad is it going to be? We don't want to think like that.
No.
But apparently someone is.
Somebody is. So let's do a quick review of what Donald Trump has promised that he is going to do. Many of these things are promised to be done within the first 100 days. I'm going to scroll down here. Mass deportations. He has promised that they will begin on day 1. Tom Homan has said we want to arrest as many people as that are in this country illegally. If you're here illegally, you're not off the table. It's a violation of the law. It's a crime to enter this country illegally. He is saying that he's going to finish the wall. Now, I'm going to tell you what, if he didn't do anything but finish the wall, that would be a legacy, because there's quite a bit of that wall left. So he's supposedly secured the materials that were still left there, and he's got a better mandate behind him. Remain in Mexico is going to be re-implemented. Remember, Joe Biden, through executive order, stopped Remain in Mexico within an hour of his presidency, within an hour of being in the Oval Office. Right. Trump has said he's going to implement that again, meaning, if you don't know what that means, is that if you are seeking asylum to come across the border, you have to remain in Mexico while your asylum request is being processed. Joe Biden did away with that and just dispersed them throughout the country while they waited on a court date. Drill, baby, drill is what he has said. He has promised to ramp up domestic energy production. By the way, he has promised to override the executive order that Biden just did a few days ago, banning offshore drilling. No tax on tips. I think this one shocked everybody. And I'm really wondering what's going to come of this. You know, how big of an impact it's going to be, but it's supposedly going to happen. Trump has debuted his policy of ending taxation on gratuities at a Las Vegas rally, hoping to curry favor with the Nevada service industry. And of course, Kamala Harris come out a few days later and said, no tax on tips. Restore SALT deductions. Okay, the SALT deductions, it says to impose a $10,000 limit on state and local tax, SALT deductions when filing federal taxes. This provision was deeply unpopular in the high-tax Democratic-leaning states and attracted opposition from blue state Republicans. Trump himself vowed to eliminate the deduction cap while campaigning. Make TCJA cuts permanent. These are the Trump tax cuts to make them permanent instead of expiring. They're scheduled to expire. No tax on overtime. This is going to be huge for a lot of families if this is go through. Similar to the no tax on tips, Trump has promised to end taxation on overtime pay.
That's just crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy amazing.
Crazy amazing. It really is.
Yeah. Crazy amazing.
Saying the people who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens of our country. It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break. End taxes on Social Security benefits. That's another huge thing that a lot of people don't even think about unless you're living it. Incentivize Made in America again. So he really wants to push that. Business tax. We're cutting the business tax from 21% to 15%, which makes it the most competitive tax anywhere on the planet. Trump's Reciprocal Trade Act. Free trade is what that's all about. In the Ukraine war. I think everybody wants to see that happen.
Yes.
The Russian invasion of Ukraine. He says he's going to end it in 24 hours. I don't know if that's going to happen. These are just some of the things.
Ambitious.
These are just some of the things that he has promised, and many of them he has said he's going to do in the first 100 days. Now, it's going to take the Congress getting off their rear end and actually making it happen. And there's a lot of rhinos there. There's already pushback. The Democrats have already said they're going to slow this agenda down. So we're going to see how much he gets done. But he seems to be in a whole different mindset than he was the first administration.
Well, yeah, there are definitely at least some differences. I would say definitely more driven.
Oh, yeah. Even Melania. Did you hear Melania today? She gave an interview today and she goes, hey, I know where all the rooms are. I love it when she said, I don't need nobody to take me on a tour. They're not going to blindside me this time. She basically said, I'm going to be very much more involved this time than I was before. Good. I tell you what, when that bullet pierced the ear of her husband, I think that lit a fire under her too. You know, she wrote a book. She started telling things that people done to her while she was president. She come out of the silence. And I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with Melania.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that's got to happen is he's got to get his people confirmed. And confirmation hearings are scheduled already to begin this week, but even before he becomes the president, set for Trump's cabinet picks. Hegseth on Tuesday, Bondi and Rubio on Wednesday. These are the main Trump cabinet picks. So they're about to be rapid. The first hearing is set for this coming Tuesday, tomorrow at 9 a.m. with former Georgia Representative Doug Collins, who's picked to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. The hearing for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, which is going to be a big one, is set to begin on Tuesday.
That's crazy to me that this is actually probably going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to, and they're saying he's got the votes. We'll see. But here's the detail. I won't read all of them, but you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. That's quite a list of people. Veterans Affairs, Homeland Security, Judiciary, Foreign Affairs, Intelligence, Commerce, Homeland Security again, Banking, Judiciary, and Finance. These are just some of the ones that are going to be brought before them. The hearing for John Ratcliffe for CIA Chief will be Wednesday at 10 a.m. Marco Rubio is going to have his on Wednesday, and Pam Bondi to become the Attorney General on Wednesday as well. So this is going to be quite an event of a week.
Well, definitely it seems like he has done a lot of this work well in advance.
Yes.
And I like that.
Nothing like
Let's
before.
don't waste any time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Look how many people had to be replaced last administration.
Hey, it was a year to a year and a half into his presidency that he still had some people that the positions weren't filled. Because he's even admitted sort of candidly, and he don't like to admit it, I don't think he really realized he was going to win. I think he thought he was, but the people around him, they just sort of thought, this is a long shot. But when he actually won, he was like, oh, I need people. And he got a bunch of rhinos, and they turned on him. Yeah. But y'all can laugh at Donald Trump. He says he's going to make Canada the 51st state. He says he's going to turn the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America.
Going to buy Greenland.
Dude, if he turns... and what's stopping him is what hit me from just saying from now on, I said executive order that for my administration, at least you can do what you want to do afterwards. For the next 4 years, no one shall be permitted to call it the Gulf of Mexico. I deem it the Gulf of America. I mean, who's going to turn that back 4 years from now? So I say do it. But then, as you just said, he says, I'm going to buy Greenland. And people laughed at him. And then he sent his son, Benny Johnson, the content creator, went with his son. Several people, they flew on a plane. They went to Greenland like last week and a half ago. Sit down and talk to people. Come find out. The majority of the citizens of Greenland says, let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm ready to
Let's do this thing.
So look what J.D. Vance said. J.D. Vance come out this week and said, there is a deal to be made in Greenland.
Well, we're talking strategic, right?
Strategery. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, let's do it.
So Vice President-elect J.D. Vance said in the interview aired Sunday that there's, quote, a deal to be made in Greenland with Trump's indication that he wants the U.S. to own the world's largest island. Why it matters. Trump's refusal to rule out military force to acquire Greenland, currently defended by NATO member Denmark, or the Panama Canal. Let's not forget about that. He says he's going to take that back too. He's like, we gave it to Panama, not China. Not China. China is running it. He sent shockwaves through the United States and its allies. Vance said on Fox News Sunday that military force isn't needed in Greenland and that the U.S. already has troops stationed on the island. Trump has repeatedly said that controlling Greenland is critical for U.S. national security, and a talking point that Vance echoed on Sunday. Danish officials in private messages sent to Trump's team expressed willingness to boost security in Greenland and increase U.S. military presence there. During the news, Greenland is, quote, really important for America strategically and has a lot of great natural resources. Vance added that people Donald J. Trump met in Greenland last week told him they want to be empowered to develop those resources. Vance also argued that the Danish government has not done a sufficient job of securing the island as climate change reshapes the Arctic. It has ignited heightened competition among global superpowers in the region. During the Cold War, Greenland played a key role in U.S. defense as part of an early warning system. Trump has argued that it's critical to secure the island as Russia and China search for footholds in the Arctic.
Exactly. In the Arctic.
They want the Arctic. Y'all, that's the next battlefield. Am I right, Sandy? You talk about that all the time.
It's one of them, yeah. Yeah, they've been up there, and we've talked about the icebreakers. I was listening earlier, just before the show, to someone who said, we have 4 icebreakers, but 2 of them are inoperable.
Of course.
If that's true. I mean, I can't prove it.
We have how many and 2 of them?
He said 4.
So we got 50% not working?
50% of them not working. That's what he said. Can't prove or disprove it. While Russia and China, I can't remember how many he said they have collectively, but it was many times more than what we supposedly have, according to this person. So anyway, there's that.
Then there's the wah-wah in a different version of the wah-wah, and more and more wah-wahs, and wah-wahs that fly, if you know what I mean, in the trees. All those wah-wahs that somehow it's called to fly in the tree virus, but yet it's spread by pigs and cows. But lo and behold, Dr. McCullough, that we're very familiar with, has went on Grant Stinchfield, and he says that they are already have agreed to start testing vaccinating mosquitoes on humans.
Mosquitoes. I mean, I never thought I'd be talking about, the elites, the government. There's been military studies, the United States military using mosquitoes to bring payloads to humans. What's going on here?
Grant, I hate to get mosquito bites. My wife complains about it bitterly. In Dallas, we have mosquitoes. I'm up here in Colorado right now, and, there's lesser degrees of mosquitoes here, but the whole country is plagued by mosquitoes by and large. They carry diseases like malaria, yellow fever, dengue fever, West Nile virus, which we have in Dallas. And the direction of this mosquito vaccine research is not directed at the mosquitoes themselves. So if the mosquitoes were made more benign, that would be terrific. But the direction has been to actually alter the diseases that they carry. And then once that disease is genetically altered, the mosquitoes act like a vaccine syringe and then inject that modified parasite, in the case of malaria, into the human body.
Wow. All right. So the big question.
What are we living in? Exactly. What is our world that we live in now?
Exactly.
So if you don't want the wah-wah,
you're going to get it anyway.
We're going to give it to you through a mosquito.
Well, listen, we've talked about this before, I believe, on the show. The series, The Last Ship.
Oh, yeah.
They came up with a nifty way to vaccinate everyone. Mm-hmm. We're just going to spray it out of the plane.
Yeah, right.
And, there's belief that once 70% of a population is vaccinated, that somehow those people can help make sure the rest of us get vaccinated by transmitting or shedding.
Ugh.
So
just got vaccinated.
And they told us while we were still dealing with wah a couple of years ago.
Yep.
We're just going to put the mRNA in the food.
Yeah,
so.
Right. Which, how do we know they haven't already? I mean, we
Exactly.
don't know. We don't know. We
Exactly.
don't know. But I can push back as far as I can push back. But y'all, they got plans for the pushback.
Yes.
And think about it. The man said he's right. Mosquitoes are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And how about this? We talk about this all the time. By the time they start talking about it, has it already started?
Exactly.
And they're trying to tell us that it's coming, but it's already here, so that we will not be shocked when it's massively released.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
But one of the things that they're fighting now, I got real mixed messages on this. We got a few more, and then I'm gonna blow your mind on the last one on our supernatural AI update, y'all. It's freaky, but I got mixed feelings on this because I am not a fan of TikTok. I was one of the last preachers, if you will, last content creators, I guess, around here to go to TikTok. I went on there reluctantly. It's been growing some. I'm not as active on there, nowhere near as I am on YouTube and some others. And I do believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that TikTok is a weapon of the Chinese government. I understand that. The main reason I went there is because I want to reach young people, because that's where all the young people are.
Yes.
And quite frankly, there's a lot of people there that's making a lot of money. There's a lot of things being sold on TikTok. They have the TikTok shop. It's a lot different than monetization like we have here. But a lot of people don't realize this. How about this date? January 19th, 6 days from now, the day before the inauguration, is the deadline of whether TikTok will be banned in the United States or not.
Yeah.
They are actively before the Supreme Court right now. And everything that we're hearing leaking, it is looking like people are saying the Supreme Court is going to uphold the ban.
That's crazy.
So,
can you imagine the stress some of these content creators have?
I mean, think about this. Think about the plans that these content creators had to cover Donald Trump.
Right.
And it's going to go away the day before he becomes president. That's going to be crazy.
Can he bring it back the day he becomes president?
I don't know.
I mean,
because
seriously.
This was not an executive order. This was a law that was passed. All right? So, but now, what's this interesting twist? Kevin O'Leary, otherwise known as Mr. Wonderful,
Mr. Wonderful,
from the Shark Tank, has made a bid to buy TikTok and save it.
Okay.
According to reports, the Supreme Court justices sound likely to uphold the TikTok ban. But let's watch him on Fox News, if I can get down here to it. I believe this is it. He says, I got a plan.
Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. I'm not sure how many Supreme Court justices are on TikTok, but worldwide billions of young people are.
Oh,
so
yes.
Lots of eyes were on the court with a looming ban. Is there a workaround that preserves national security and maintains the platform? Is there a way to satisfy concerns and still keep teenagers from starting World War III? And speaking of big tech, Facebook has done an about face. I wonder if it's because their preferred candidate did not win the election in November. No, I don't think that could be it, could it?
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the U.S.
I do not trust you.
The movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far.
And it took him how long to figure that out?
Exactly.
Mark Zuckerberg donated $1 million to the Trump inauguration fund. I mean, that's pocket change to him. I doubt it's enough to make up for years of bias, but we shall find out. Let's ask one of the consummate deal makers in the world. They call him Mr. Wonderful, but he also answers to Kevin O'Leary. Welcome, sir. Why don't you buy TikTok? Move the servers to the United States, address the mental health concerns for young people, and that way everybody is happy and you're richer.
Well, that's about to happen if we get the right judgment from the justices at the Supreme Court, hoping to get that this week. They had the hearing on Friday. I listened to every word. And so what we're deciding now is to either uphold the order of Congress, bipartisan order to shut down TikTok. But I don't want it shut down. It's not good for my businesses. It's not good for 6 million other small businesses in America that make a living off it. We just need to take out the onerous piece, the spyware. And that's what Congress is upset about. And so our offer, my syndicate, along with Frank McCord, we've put together an offer that actually we don't want to buy the algorithm. That one of the issues the company claimed in their case to the Supreme Court was no one's going to buy it without the algorithm. That's not true. We'll buy it without the algorithm because we can't use it. That's spyware. So we're going to rebuild the product and make it much better, actually. And we're hoping that this really kind of a binary outcome. If the justices rule for upholding the law, it will go back to the executive. That's currently Biden. If he can see a valid purchase offer, which we've sent it to the company, all the shareholders and the Chinese government, they have it now. And he'll say, look, I think you guys should negotiate in good faith. We'll offer you, if you wish, negotiate a 90-day stay of execution, so to speak. And then we'll be working for Donald Trump at 12:05 on January 20th. So this is a very complicated bipartisan deal.
So for what I'm hearing is he wants to make TikTok great again.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. We'll see. Have you heard anything about Musk wanting or offering?
I don't think he wants it.
Okay.
No, I don't think he sees it as any kind
I
of
saw
money maker.
somebody in chat say something about that.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think he wants it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Bring him on in.
Uncle Jimmy!
It's the Supernatural AI Update. When are we getting rid of that picture?
Well, I can't do everything.
Okay.
I mean, you ask these things when they're going to happen, but what you mean is when are you going to do that?
That's exactly what I meant.
Exactly. The World Economic Forum, those weffers and heifers, they are now boasting, and they've put out an article on their website that 41% of companies will soon replace human workers with AI.
What?
41%. According to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report for 2025, nearly half of jobs traditionally performed by humans will become...
Okay, I just want to say again.
Okay.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What?
Yes, but wait till you see the timeline. Nearly half of jobs traditionally performed by humans will become automated by AI by the year...
Ding, ding, ding.
2030. You're going to hear that number a lot lately. NewsTarget.com reports the report released ahead of the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos surveyed hundreds of large companies across the globe. While 77% of the businesses plan to reskill and upskill their existing employees to work alongside AI, the overarching message is clear. AI is not just a tool for enhancing productivity. It is a force that will fundamentally alter the job
By that
market.
you mean replace the humans.
Absolutely.
So I know we need to finish the rest, or at least parts of this article. So when you want to bring this into the public and start talking like this, you can understand why you started hearing the term what is that about a monthly income? Stay home and doggone it. There's so many acronyms and phrases and terms here. I can't keep up with it. Basic
life income or something.
Basic income.
We all know what we mean.
You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the humans are not going to have jobs.
Yeah.
But they're still going to be alive and needing to eat.
You know what? Remember what Harari said? You know, they ask him, what's good humans go? How are you going to keep humans satisfied? Drugs and video games. We're going to give them money, just basic
universal
basic income, universal UBI.
Thank you.
We're going to give them universal basic income. We're going to give them a video game controller, and we're going to give them psychedelics, while the world machines do the job. So what makes this report particularly alarming is its timing. As Patrick Wood, editor of Technocracy, how you say that? Technocracy points out, though WEF's findings are already outdated. Over the past 6 to 9 months, AI has doubled in intelligence and capability. Twice. Not doubled, but doubled twice in the past 6 to 9 months.
That's not easy to hear.
This exponential growth suggests that the World Economic Forum's predictions may be far too conservative. By mid-25, experts predict the arrival of artificial general intelligence, AGI.
In a few months?
In a few months.
In 4 months? In 5 months?
AGI is coming by this summer, publicly. A form of AI that can perform any intellectual task at a human level. By 2030, virtually every company on the planet will feel the impact. Postal clerks, secretaries, and payroll clerks most likely will have their jobs taken by AI. The WEF report identifies specific roles that are most vulnerable to AI-driven automation. Postal service clerks, executive secretaries, payroll clerks, the top. Even roles requiring higher levels of creativity and knowledge, such as graphic designers, legal secretaries, are not immune. Generative AI, the technology behind the tools like ChatGPT, can now produce original text, images, and even complex legal documents with minimal human input. The shift is not just about replacing repetitive tasks, it's about redefining what it means to work. As AI becomes more sophisticated, even jobs that once seemed secure are being reevaluated. The report knows that generative AI's ability to perform knowledge work is a game changer, signaling a future where human expertise is augmented or outright replaced by machines. Dare I say, Skynet.
Yeah. Well, we've said it
Skynet.
Many times before. They don't need you anymore.
Exactly. Y'all, that's a very alarming thing. And their numbers are out of date. Their numbers are out of date. Y'all, that is by half of this year, the first half of this year, we're going to have AGI.
This is our flagship humanoid
Look at this.
powered robot. She's highly realistic. She has her own social media, so she might be competing with. This is Aria. So this is our flagship
This was at CES, what is that?
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Computers.
I can't remember what it stands for.
Consumer electronic.
Yes. So this is the big one where all the people debut their technology. It just ended like a couple days ago.
I tried to get him to stay in Las Vegas a few more days.
I would have loved it.
Because
God.
we left on the 3rd and it started on the 7th or something like that.
Dude, I've always wanted to go to CES. But she's just standing there for people to come up and listen to what he says about why they're introducing her at this one.
This is Aria. So this is our flagship humanoid AI-powered robot. She's highly realistic. She has her own social media, so she might be competing with you one day. What makes her really special is that you can talk to her and ask questions. So maybe we can have her introduce herself and say something.
Hello. I'm Aria, the flagship female companion robot of Realbotics.
What's the purpose of this? Some of our peers in the robotic space make robots to replace human labor. We think that's a great area, but we think there's a much bigger area in having social robots. So for example, at a convention like this, we can draw a crowd very easily. Aria's been a little bit of a rock star here with people taking pictures and coming over. So she can promote your brand. The AI is all customizable, so she can learn all about you and your brand, and she can continue to communicate to people. There's a huge epidemic amongst adolescents and seniors on loneliness.
There it is.
So she can be programmed to know you and learn more about you. So she can make that bond with you that feels like a genuine human connection.
They're going to be in the houses?
We don't have the ability to clean the house. They don't do physical labor, but they're more there to converse with you. It's companionship. They can actually even be a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So we have built that into our AI as well.
Okay, I want to just stop right here, and I think the term is Erie Valley. Is that it? Look, we're getting close to that line to where it looks so much like a human.
Yeah.
If you were just glancing, it might could pass as a human.
Right.
Is it Erie Valley?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a term where people become uncomfortable because it's so close that, like people were saying, that's freaky, that's freaking me out.
Yeah, and it said, we've already programmed into our system to be your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Well, that's just another step away from something else, right? Uncanny Valley. Thank you. It's called Uncanny Valley. And
we have the smartest live chat in the world.
I know. I knew somebody out there would know, but good grief.
Stepford Wives, great example. Yeah.
Very good.
Y'all, this is where we're going. Mm-hmm. Now, I got one more thing to tell you, because I remember when we covered, this was like a little over a year ago. I told you, this is not just listening to me. Somehow it's reading my mind. Remember when I told you that I was thinking something? We did not have a conversation. I was thinking it. I did not say it out loud. I did not search for it. I did not do anything. I opened up my Facebook and there was an ad for what I was thinking about. Mm-hmm. And nobody believed me. In 30 seconds, I'm going to show you that they are perfecting the ability now for AI to literally read your mind. And they're telling you this. At CES, they revealed they can now be operated and read your mind.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
Did you see what Billy Mitchell said?
What did he say?
Oh, dear God.
Okay, I gotta go
He
back.
said robot hookers.
That's it. He said the quiet part out loud. And by the way, if you go to our website, you can get some of these wonderful mugs.
And why wouldn't you want to?
Why wouldn't you want it? I see greatness in you.
Yeah.
Awake, not woke. And you get the sign like we got back there. And then you can also get a copy
of this great book,
hardback, paperback, and Kindle version. And by the way, also at LarryRagland.com or LarryRagland.tv, you can get a 16-part video course that I taught called The DNA of Greatness. Good way to start your year out. So this is some other things that happened in CES this year. The world's biggest tech event, CES 2025, just happened, and it was filled with tons of incredible announcements. These are some of the ones here. First up, Omni.
Ring a bell? Unconditioned stimulus. Anyone? Who can tell me what the conditioned stimulus is?
Merci. Tu es mignon aussi.
Nicholas. Care to elaborate?
The conditioned stimulus was the ringing of the bell, which made the dog salivate even in the absence of food.
Nice, dude.
So this is basically just saying he's thinking these things, and when he thinks it with the thing that's on the side of his head, whatever he thinks, he don't have to say it. It goes to his phone and gives him the answer. So that's what the necklace is too. You can put it on the side of your head. You can wear it as a necklace. And when the girl was speaking in French or whatever it was, he's cute. His brain heard it. He doesn't know French. His brain heard it. The thing sitting beside his brain went to his brain and then sent the signal to his phone to tell his phone what she was saying.
I may have to leave. I don't know if I can deal with this.
It's already in place, Sandy.
This is one of those nights where my skin is crawling. I don't know if I can do this.
All right, well, what about this one? These are goggles that now mimic your eyes so that people can look at you through freaky digital eyes. And you can change your eyes.
And the reason for this is?
So that you don't ever have to take it off. You can walk around and have conversations with people, and it's supposed to not be awkward. Yeah, that's not awkward. Infinity.
It's not awkward at all.
It's not awkward at all. Y'all, this is just some of the stuff at CES.
So while you're walking around, being able to see where you're going while also reading something or watching a movie or whatever,
and
a
somebody walks up
YouTube
to
video, a person can walk up to you and
then you can look at them.
And they can look at you thinking that you're looking at them.
Right. But you could.
But we all know that this is really not. You're really not.
You're really watching Netflix while you're talking to them.
Oh my gosh!
It's the ultimate where you are supposed to have a conversation with somebody.
Come now, quickly.
And you don't have to. This is where we're going. All right, wait a minute. All right, so watch this. This is AI. This is smart glasses. All this is being seen through his glasses. You're not going to be able to know anything in the world what's real. I'm not talking about just through AI. The world's not going to look real to you. Look, you're walking around playing video games, doing tasks. You got your hands being mimicked. You're watching a game while you're playing football, a game, watching a movie through pairs of glasses. This technology is not coming. This technology is here.
You seriously get mad at me because I try to decode the movie while we're watching it, or maybe I'm catching up on a news article while we're supposed to be watching a television show, and this is going on?
Yes. Look at the new iRobots.
This is the vacuum?
This is the new vacuum and house cleaner. Can also bring you your drinks. It's got a fan. It can come and cool you down. Uh-oh. Teaching you how to cook. Air purifier.
Now that I'm thinking about this, I think I'm kind of liking this a little bit. Okay, you know what I'm saying here?
Look, opens the blinds, turns the lights out, locks the doors, and does a little dance.
Does a little dance. There you go.
Your future home with SwitchBot, multitasking, vacuum cleaner, house. I mean, this is debuted and soon to be purchasable.
I'll tell you what that is. That's a gateway drug right there. That is a gateway drug into buying a full-on robot for your home.
Yeah. Now, this one right here, because you know how much I love TVs. Check out the latest technology in TVs, y'all. I think this is, is this the one? No, it's the next one, I think. Yeah, it's the next one. Look, these are transparent LEDs. This is the movies that we always saw people come in the spaceships, and they would look through. They're here now. These are TVs and screens.
Thank you, Beth, for that super chat. This is part of CES?
Yes, all this is CES. Look at this. And I've seen also big TVs that were like 120 inches, and they were sitting in the middle, and you walk up to it, people were walking up to it just like that, pure, clean, perfect glass. You just stayed on the other side, me and you are looking at each other perfect, and all of a sudden the screen changes, and it goes to you cannot see it all through it, and it's a high definition football game.
Oh, wow.
How are they doing that?
How did you miss that? You were so close. You were right. You were already there.
There's still a chance.
Man.
You're saying there's a chance. All right, these are called human pods.
Okay.
Human pods by Nature Humana, the world's first open-ear wireless earbuds that enhance the capabilities in daily life, enabling you to connect to AI with a single tap.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll ask Chris and get back to you.
Thank you.
No phone necessary.
Hey, Nature. What's on my schedule today?
Hey, Nature.
Hey, Una. There's a team meeting at 10 a.m., a call with Blue Wave at 1 p.m., and the project review at 3 p.m.
Hey, Mother Nature. That's what that reminded me of. Hey, Mother Nature. What's on my agenda today?
Okay.
We still haven't found the chicken. Someone has stolen the chicken.
If there was a golden chicken
there was
night,
going to be a
it's
chicken
tonight,
we
don't have a golden chicken.
We got to order one.
And I did speak with Harper, and she assured me, Nana, I put golden chicken back where I got him.
She did.
I don't know where he is, and I believed her.
Well, I do too. But we don't. We
you know what? I'll tell you what's probably going on right here.
What's going on?
This is probably your messy studio keeping. And you're probably the one.
Are you really going to do that?
You're probably the one to blame for this entire thing.
Are you really going
that just happened.
to go there?
That just happened. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me see. I'm looking. Look.
Okay.
If you wanted to, Sandy, right now,
we could get one for everybody.
$14.99 on Amazon. You can get 20 squeaky rubber chickens.
Well, you know, I just want 20 of them. Absolutely.
I mean, we could just have them all over the place.
Dangling from the ceiling
our
and everything.
Our dogs could love them.
Like a baby mobile. They could just spin around our head the entire time.
Y'all, what a night it's been. 7 nights from tonight. 47 will be officially in office, and we will cover it. And we will probably live stream throughout the day. And we got many, many shows throughout the day. Let us know if tonight was a blessing to you. Share it. Hit that like button. Send some people to the big picture. We're growing. Go back and watch that episode last night. Big picture's growing, y'all. 2025 is going to explode.
It is.
And why we are going to need this big picture family, because we're going to need to go through some mess together, y'all.
Hey, Cousin Cosmo did actually go to CES, so he's out there with all of his friends.
We'll never get him back.
But he'll be back. He's just not here tonight.
You think he'll be back?
I think so.
Okay.
Unless he hooks up out there and finds him
there'll be some
an alien
woman.
There'll
be some alien women out there. All right, y'all, we love y'all. We always want to remind you that we ain't woke.
No.
But we are certainly awake. God bless y'all.
Good night.
Bye.